Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A brand new Disney Plus Star Wars show is here, and of course, myself and Roy are here to discuss. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It
Like,
has way too
yeah,
long.
way too long. But you know what? Disney Plus is gonna keep us in business, so
It's
I'm
got
glad.
Loki before we know it. So,
Right, so I'm happy for that. I'm still waiting on you to see the Beetle that is
oh
blue.
right, yeah,
Right. I mean, Sunday's National Cinema Day. It's like $4 to see it. So I mean,
okay.
if you feel
Well,
like
maybe it won't be a box up office
flop,
flop then.
right?
Maybe with these four
I don't.
dollar.
I don't think it was. It is one, but that's still up for debate. Maybe when you see, we can actually really
Mm,
discuss, or if you do see it, or you could always wait to what's the one Max.
Max.
I almost said HBO Max, right? But
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
you
It's
could
not
always.
HBO Max
It's not
anymore.
HBO Max anymore. You could always wait till Max. Anyways, let's we always do this anyway. But yeah, we are here to talk Ahsoka.
So
Um, and as you alluded, I'm the Rebels guy. I don't know. Are you a Clone Wars person or
I
no?
am neither. I am neutral
Right,
on the
right.
Fioniverse. So
Yes, you are. For you, this is. I don't want to say new, but this is new-ish.
yeah.
New adjacent. You've probably come across these characters at some point. Ahsoka's not in the sequel to the video game, is she?
Oh, I didn't play the sequel to the video game, so she might be, but
Yeah,
she
I
shouldn't be.
don't know.
I don't. The timeline with Ahsoka doesn't make sense to me, but like her species, I guess, can live a long ass time. So I guess right. Like I just,
That's what it's looking like. But your introduction to Ahsoka then would be Mandalorian season 2,
I mean, I've encountered like I've watched some Clone Wars, some
right?
Rebels, like not enough that like I would call myself a fan or like super know the nuances of either show. But like I'm
But
familiar, like I know who
you are
Sabine
familiar with the
is.
character, right?
Yeah, yeah, and Ahsoka being like probably the most popular non until Mandalorian non live action Star Wars character.
Right.
It's like hard to miss her, right? She was in whatever that last movie is, Rise of Skywalker, right? So
What? Oh yeah, she was a ghost.
her
Or
voices, yeah, which
her
means she's
yeah,
dead by
by
Rise of Skywalker. So
right. So somewhere between now and Rise of Skywalker is when she expires. When she's unalived,
uh, she is one
Uh,
with the Force, to use the Star Wars.
right. So then I guess I should ask you, because I have a lot more feelings than you would or you do. How do you? It's 2 episodes, so it's 2 episodes of Ahsoka, and I think my feelings are because the last, like I fell in love with the character Snips. If you don't know who Snips is, Clone Wars reference.
Mm.
I fell in love with Snips from Clone Wars, right? And that's the character I'm used to, and that's and I think the last season of Clone Wars, the Disney Plus, not the Netflix season of Clone Wars, the Disney Plus season of Clone Wars reintroduced the character, and she was a little different. And between that point, the final point where she decides to leave the Jedi, because Anakin is going crazy, and the point where we meet her in the last season of Clone Wars, and then we meet her in Mandalorian, there's been some growing up, and she's probably a different character now. So maybe they're gonna go into all of that in the show. So my feelings are on that wavelength. How do you feel about the show? How are you feeling about the show? It's 2 episodes. What do you think?
On its own terms, I like the show so far. I think it hit the ground kind of running. Like there was two action scenes in the first episode, one pretty good set piece, I think, at the end of the second episode. I think it does a good job of exploring some of the stuff that Mandalorian set up about like the New Republic with kind of out some of the like kind of insanity of that kind of scene, like the idea of the New Republic struggling with what it meant to the
Hmm.
fact that it used to be an empire. I think it's really cool themes and stuff I'm interested in, right? And like I think the actress who plays Sabine has a lot of charisma. I mean, maybe Mo disagrees. I am an unreconstructed Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like like Stan, I guess.
Mm.
Like going back to a long time ago, long time ago. So Mrs. Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's good to see her in the show. Um,
Right, right.
so overall, like I enjoyed both episodes. The music design was really cool. Like I think the
Mm.
Ahsoka theme is cool. I think that the Dark Jedi slash pseudo Sith are compelling. Like Ray Stevenson is like a huge presence.
Yes, yes.
As a longtime Star Wars fan, this is a this is a
Ah, this is yes.
this is a quick what was already happened. Like they say that like Last Jedi is the character assassinate that like the fucking like insane people are
Hmm,
like
hmm.
Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker character assassination. No, this show is Luke Skywalker character assassination. Because where the fuck is Luke? Like it's like the man is supposed to like restart the Jedi. Like there's all these
Hmm,
fucking
hmm,
Sith running
hmm.
around like
Yep.
fucking with the New Republic, and where is like Luke is sitting on a planet like with his arms crossed, like hanging with Grogu for 5 minutes, and then Grogu leaves. There's nobody there. He's just like chilling on a planet. Like I
Probably
get,
drinking whatever milk he's drinking. That's he's spending his he's old man spending his time not doing anything. He's just
it's just
there.
like,
But you know what? That's none of
but
my business. The Luke
I
fans.
like this is the problem with exploring this specific era. I in live action because it does a disservice to the classic characters, right? Like Han, Leia, Luke, Lando,
Yes.
like they should be involved in this. Like, where's Leia? Like
Oh my
she's supposed to
goodness.
be help. Like, but I get how using the Rebels characters solves the problem,
Does
right?
it?
I mean, it
But
does because
it's. I'm sorry.
well,
This is your
but
go.
right because they're rebelling. Like, at least they are like characters that were previously existing and were rebels, right? Like in the animated
Right.
show.
And
Like, so it makes sense that they, because like obviously you're not going to get Harrison Ford, they're not going to use the actor from Solo. No, like they don't have this. They don't want to recast Carrie Fisher. No one wants to watch a show of CG face Luke. Like I get all the logistical problems, but as a long-standing Star Wars fan and a person who grew up on the extended universe of all the bullshit Luke adventures, like
oh, did you read
I
those?
oh dude, I read every single Star Wars book published from Heir to the Empire
But
to
didn't Disney throw
19.
those out?
Oh, they did, but like I grew
Okay.
up on that, right? Like in
Okay.
my head, I'm expecting Luke to be the
That's
one.
all your head canon. It's
Yeah,
just you're just ready for all your head canon to just show up on the shows, right?
yeah, but on its own terms,
Uh-huh.
I like this show. I'm gonna keep watching it. I enjoyed both episodes. I would give them like a B plus. Like I
Okay. That's
enjoyed them.
fair. That's fair.
But like I have quibbles like all Star Wars shit that we talked about in this show.
I mean, it's impossible
But
to do a any Star Wars thing that we do without any we would spend like if we did you do you know I think and
Andor.
did
Andor
we
we didn't quibble about. Andor we
right,
just
right, that's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I think because it was just not like it's the most not Star Wars show, right? It's
Mhm.
just like think it's and I think it's because when you take the Jedi away, when you remove that whole aspect of all of Star Wars, you can explore the dark parts of the Star Wars universe, right? You know, the Empire struggling, or I'm sorry, the New Republic struggling. Because when they tried to do it in Mando, I'm glad that you brought that up because oh my goodness, when they tried, like they took so many episodes of Mando away to do that thing that went nowhere. It absolutely went no
Yeah.
for the show. It went nowhere because you if you're saying, oh, we're gonna drop this seed here and we're gonna explore it in Ahsoka, fine. Or we're gonna drop this seed and maybe Acolyte will take over, fine. But that's
Acolyte's
not what you
way far in the past though, so
right, exactly. So that's not what you did. You I think they started like, oh, we're gonna drop the seed here, and then they're like, shit, we have nothing written down for the rest of Mandalorian, and we need to fill out 3 episodes. So I guess we're just gonna do this. Honestly, I'm glad you brought that up, and I will say this though, it is better on the show than it was
Mhm.
in Mando.
I agree.
So I'll
Totally.
say that off the bat. So, where do I go? As a live action Star Wars show, it looked good.
Mhm.
As you said, the sound was amazing. Ahsoka's theme is fantastic. I struggled a little bit
Mhm.
because these are characters that I watched every week on Disney XD Do you understand?
Yeah.
Ahsoka was on Disney. Like, no, first of all, Ahsoka was on Cartoon Network, and then
Yes.
she went to Disney XD, and then Rebels was on Disney XD. So these are characters that I watched, and I get that they've grown up. One, and then there's the PTSD from like the war and all of that stuff, right? Has happened, and I get it. But like, I was struggling so hard to connect to Sabine. And maybe getting that little piece of Rosario Dawson, and it got me thinking while I'm watching the show. I'm like, was Rosario Dawson really the best thing, like the best choice for Ahsoka, or did people just go, she looks like Ahsoka? They're just throwing in this, right? And again, my reasoning is I grew up with Snips. Well, I didn't grow up with Snips, obviously. Snips grew up with me. The character, that's what Luke used to call her. That was when she was she ever his Padawan? Yes, she was. So I grew up with her as was
Teenager.
she a teenager, and then she became a young adult, and she became the character at the end of in the season 6 of Rebels that led into, I think, not Rebels, that of season 6 of Clone Wars, that led into the Bad Batch or whatever, however that show goes. And maybe I'm obviously gonna give the show a chance because I like the look of it, and obviously Ray Stevenson is one of the biggest reasons I'm watching the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is
Rest in
definitely,
peace.
rest RIP. It's definitely not Rosario Dawson, and I thought I'd be here for Ahsoka, but I'm kind of not. So I will watch the show because it looks good and I like it, but I think hopefully they can resolve a lot of the things that I'm not okay. That I again, it's not that and I kept saying to myself, would this show have fared better as animation if Dave Filoni just continued with animation? Would it have worked better? I keep thinking yes, because then you're able to do more, right, with stunts and set pieces, and you're just able to go farther, right? But
They
you
got a
want to
movie to
get
set up.
I know. You want to get a bigger audience on the movie you're setting up with this. So obviously, live action is the way to go. And Disney wants to spend as much money as possible and then complain about it on their earnings call. Like, just
Oh, hey, Star Wars is back on the upswing though. We
wait. What
reversed.
Star Wars? Are we talking about Star Wars, or Dune Star Wars that's on Netflix?
We're talking about. I haven't even watched the trailer for that. I'm talking about like Mando, these have done well. So like Disney is happy with Star Wars, it seems, right? Because they authorized 3 new Star Wars movies. They
Right.
haven't announced canceling any of the Star Wars shows.
None. I mean,
We're
well,
Acolyte's
the Patty
coming.
Jenkins one never isn't moving forward. Never
Yeah,
mind.
but
Yeah,
that was
so.
like 10 years in the making. But like we're getting the what? Knights of the Old Republic one, we're
Yeah,
getting the Filoni
finally.
one,
And
and
then
then
we're
we're
getting
getting Ray.
Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, so
so
they're okay with Star Wars. And
yeah, so
Was that Bob Iger, or was that like
I think it was maybe the end of what's his face and begin.
in the
Maybe I think
beginning of
it's early Bob Iger, like
okay.
early return Bob Iger. Like
Okay. All
Star
right.
Wars stock is like up. It's still not
It
like
is.
where it was
It's
Force
not where
Awakens,
yeah,
last
it's not
pre Last Jedi, but
yeah. Oof.
compared to Marvel, which seems to be imploding,
Is
um,
it?
and and Indiana Jones. I mean, we'll see with Marvels. I think the Marvels slash Loki, like if
Hmm.
like those are the big ticket
I
ones,
mean,
right?
because I feel like Guardians did what it needed to do, right? What was the last Marvel show?
But people fucking hated Secret Invasion. Like I am truly surprised at how much people fucking hate that show. Like I'm not saying it's great. Like I mean, I enjoyed it. Like
I
we had our
think
quibbles,
I
but
know, and I think it's because, like, again, with that media, people were expecting secret invasion, racist
no,
secret invasion,
we did talk about that.
right? And when they didn't get the racist part of it, they were like, "No, not my secret invasion. Make secret invasion great again."
Look, if my scrolls are not a poor stand-in for Islamic people, all
Right,
right, like
right.
then what's the point? If
But
we can't be Brian Michael Bendis working out his political ideas after 9/11, what's the fucking
listen,
point? I
oh my
personally lost it.
goodness,
So
it was tough to read again. And I think those are the things that when you read, like when you're young and it's like, oh, this is cute comic book, and then you get a little older and you read it again and you're like, oof. Just like what's the one, the
Ultimates for me.
oh,
Ulti-
or
Ultimates 2 I triggered for that.
Civil War. Okay, Civil War is not a good book.
Never
And
was.
I'm so offended that people. Oh, it should have been. No one wants to see giant man and then fucking Ragnarok fight. No one wants to see that shit. Like,
Well, you're saying you don't want clone Thor murdering
like
Bill Foster? Like
what?
Lawrence Fishburne taking an
Or
axe in the back?
what
Like
was it? Who got beat? Some was it Spider Man who got his ass super kicked so
Spider-Man got
bad?
his ass kicked a little bit, and then I mean that's what led to One More Day. Let's not forget
Right.
Civil War. One More Day was a
Oh,
1-2 punch of
Jesus! Like they
Obama.
didn't like us. Like if you think they
I
didn't
mean,
care
like
about us.
I was a hater of Civil War before it was cool. I'm just gonna say.
Okay,
But
that's good.
jump
I
back
was
to
not.
Ahsoka.
Right. Let's jump. Yeah. So
Uh,
back on Ahsoka.
so I think so. It's show like the first two episodes. I think if there's like a specific criticism
I'm
calling the show
glad they did
Ahsoka,
do first two episodes though.
I agree. It was more the Sabine show than it was
Oh,
the Ahsoka show. And I think that's kind and like I mean we'll see, right? Like it didn't feel to me like the conflict. It felt like to me like Rebels, like not Ahsoka,
but
like
Dave is on record calling it a continuation of
of
Rebels.
Rebels,
Her
but
mission,
is a
like at the
continuation of Rebels,
right. So like, because I think at the end of Rebels, the
she
very
prom,
end of she promised she took Sabine to go find Ezra,
which is where the
and
second
that's
episode ends,
and
right?
that's no. It was when they were
No,
young.
but I'm talking about that they've caught up with that
Yeah, yeah.
epilogue. It's
Actually, no.
at
I'm guessing. So this is my guess on it, right? So
uh-huh.
let me not say actually no. So let me just give you what I
You
think.
sure?
Sabine is a teenager at the time, right? Wars happen. They fought. She's lost, and she's trying to come back. And they go. We're gonna go find Ezra. And I'm guessing her training her and all of that
Mhm.
stuff that they talk about
Right.
extensively. You failed. You're back. You went away. Like all of that is in between them finding Ezra and then she goes away, and then they're back again to the point where they got to go find So they
Oh,
jump
okay.
over all of that to get right back to that. So we never got the training part. She's a she's a Padawan now, and it's
You're not a fan of her as a Padawan? You should
absolutely
you should
absolutely
explain why she wasn't in
not.
Mandalorian, at least.
Maybe, but absolutely not because I left off Sabine was trying to control the dark saber. She could barely even control that. Now all of a sudden she's like Jedi. It's fine.
I mean, she did get her ass kicked in that
I'm
fight.
glad.
Like that
I'm
that lady
glad.
was like toying with her the whole time. I actually thought that was the best fight scene.
Oh
Where
yeah, it
because
was.
the
And
Sith lady was like toying with her the whole
and I
time.
and that's the reason I think again why was Rosario Dawson the best person to cast for Ahsoka is because she's not as fluid as Snips is. Snips is fluid. You need to watch an episode of Clone Wars
I've
to
watched enough
understand
Clone Wars.
where I'm
Yeah,
coming from.
they
Like,
do. She's
you
yeah.
think? Do you think
I
it? Do
mean,
you think it's live? See, and
it's gonna
that's
be
why I
live
say,
action.
and that's why I say, should this show have been animation? Because if you're going to continue the character, and I think this is the other part of it, right? Where I'm looking at the prequel trilogy, right? At least there's a frame of reference between when they translate those characters to the animation, right?
Hmm.
The frame of reference for me, so I can understand how they move when like I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I'm not, I don't really care as much, but my frame of reference is all of the animation on
Yep.
this character, and you translate to live action, and it to me didn't translate well. At least not great for the first two episodes. Let's see. Because can this show make up for all of that stuff with the story? I 100% think it can. And that's
Well, when
where
they get the flashback with Anakin, you know you're gonna lose it because they've said
uh
that Hayden's in the show.
oh yeah, he's definitely cast in the show. And I think Sam Witwer is also cast in the show cuz he's also a Star Wars character that should be in here in any of this somewhere. From the games, I forget his games.
Hunger Games.
No. Sam Witwer, the guy from he played Doomsday in Smallville.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's in a Star Wars game, right? I don't.
Oh wait, that guy is
Yes, that guy.
that character is. Oh my god, that's one of the worst retcons, by the way, of all time. We're talking about the Force Unleashed,
That
like
guy.
where
Yes.
that you mean the founder of the Rebel Alliance, which was what that game ended as. Is he gonna be in this series?
He's cast in the series, but they don't. I don't have. Let me look. Let me make sure
Because
because I
I read because when they announced Obi-Wan, they also said that Hayden was coming back for that show and this show.
right.
So
So
I
we
assume
know
we're
for a fact Hayden is
gonna be a flashback.
right, of course. Or no, well, he's a flashback.
I mean, he could be a Force ghost,
Yeah, because he's cast as Anakin Skywalker and not as
Darth Vader. Well, but
yeah.
she only interacted with Vader once, right? In Rebels,
No.
right? They had a big
No,
fight.
no, 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 no. She interacted with so in Rebels. So if Rebels is the Rebels is the future, right? So it was a big fight. So she well, according to again, this is why these shows are as good as they are. They're a jumbled mess. If we go back to the season 6, the Disney Plus season of Clone Wars, she kind of enter like when she has to come back to help, for, Order 66. She's back for that. She's
Right.
on the ship when Order 66 goes off. And so Anakin kind of like uh Anakin Vader at the time kind of like does the force thing, the force mind thing, and they kind of like, "Oh, I know where you are." But then she dies and cuts her connection to the force off,
Okay.
which is why she's never, and then
Why Anakin
Rebel
doesn't know she's alive until Rebels, right?
until Rebels, yes.
But they have a big fight. I've seen
They
like clips
they
of it on
fought,
YouTube
yeah, they
in
actually did fight
Rebels.
in Rebels, yes.
Wait, and he's
It
in his
was
full Vader like
Yeah,
Vader.
this was in some chamber of secrets kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, and one of those things. It was it was like a temple, which looked similar to the one where she finds the map in. So it was kind of like that. Yeah, but Dave Filoni's on record calling this a Rebels continuation.
I mean,
Um,
all the characters, Rebels characters so far.
all the Rebels characters are here. I I will say though, my favorite Star Wars character of all time, Grand Admiral Thrawn, is going to be here. And I know I
Yeah.
shouldn't call him my favorite character of all time because but he is. I haven't You know what's funny? So you read the books, he had a
Mhm.
comic, he had a Marvel comic,
He had
which
a
I
he
read.
had a lot of shit for Grand Admiral Thrawn in the old
Yeah.
continuity. So
Well, I need to probably go and check those out. But I read his Marvel comic every week. I also read Anakin's Marvel comic every week. Well, he was Vader at the time, so I read that comic every week. Those are the only two. Those are my two.
did you read the Doctor Farah? Is that how you say her name? Series?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Talking about
Said
the Marvel comic like recently in the 21st century, post Disney, right?
yeah, yeah. This is when they go to Disney.
Yeah, yeah. You
When
should definitely,
Disney
if you
just
enjoyed the original Darth Vader series, the one by that Kieran Gillen did, you
Mhm.
should definitely read the Doctor Farah. I
Okay,
guess is how you say
great,
it.
great, great. I'll check. I'll
Uh,
look into those. But yeah, again, my the only reason why I keep disconnecting with the show in any way, shape, or form is because my reference is the way those characters are, and maybe I need to grow up. And I also haven't seen Rebels in like a long time. I haven't gone
mm,
back to watch it. My last my last animated version of Ahsoka would be from the season 6 of
the Clone Wars, and she in Bad Batch too, like in the first episode.
yeah, the first episode. Yeah, so Caleb was in the first episode of Bad Batch.
Yeah, he was. They save him, right?
Yeah, they save him. So that's fun.
And Caleb's kid, right? Doesn't Hera have his kid? Doesn't she have
The kid was in Rogue One. The kid was flying the ship in Rogue One.
their kid? Like
Yeah,
because
I
the
think
Jedi had like the Jedi's love interest was Hera, right? Played by
yeah,
America, and they have a kid, right? Isn't she pregnant
on the
on
show. Yeah, she's pregnant at the end of the
end of
show.
Rebels at the end of the show?
Yes,
So she
yeah.
should have like a 7-year-old or
At
something.
this point,
Yeah.
yes, there should be a kid. Yeah.
Okay.
And can you help me out with the timeline from here to not Rebels, Rogue One?
So Rogue One is so Rebels ends at the beginning of Rogue One.
Huh?
Yes,
So then who flies the ship in Rogue One?
they do. But like Rebels isn't over. But like the main storyline, Rebels and Rogue One like line up.
Okay.
Because like Rebels ends at the beginning of um
Rebels and
Rebels ends at the Battle of Yavin, right? Like that,
I,
like right
yeah,
before the
yeah,
Battle of Yavin,
yeah,
right?
what Grand Admiral Thrawn gets like
Booted,
space.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
But before the Death Star.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wait, because I think they were they. No, they didn't get the plans for the Death Star.
No,
That's
that's
that
Rogue
happened.
One.
That's Rogue One. Yeah.
But like Andor has a bunch of stuff from Rebels in it, right? Like they mention the planet that
Right.
Sabine is
Right.
on,
Right. Right.
like
Right.
because Mon Mothma
Lothal.
fleeing, yeah, Lothal,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mon Mothma fleeing is like a plot point, right?
Plot point.
Which they're
Yes.
setting up in Andor.
Andor.
Yeah, so like that's where the weird timeline is.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
you know what? I need them to build a timeline, a continuity for me, because at this point, it's a struggle. Like it really is.
well,
But ultimately, the show, right? Just if I never watched any of the adjoining material, if I've only like you seen clips here and there, and I don't really have a vested interest in those shows, I would I would be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. But I can't do that, and it hurts me to do that.
so you don't like the live action actors that were cast. So you don't like
Not a fan of
Mrs. Obi-Wan
Sabine.
Kenobi as Hera. So you don't
No,
like Mary Elizabeth Winstead as a Hera.
no,
Okay. And
no.
so you don't like the
Yeah, she
actress.
doesn't she didn't do it for me. Like I could go the rest of the show never seeing Harrison Dula again. I didn't connect with her. I didn't connect with Sabine, and I have a problem with Rosario Dawson. And I keep thinking to myself, is she the best like
I
person
mean,
for this
I will
character?
agree with you. Like I've never been blown away by Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I think she's serviceable.
Right.
Maybe we'll get better. It will get better. I like the actress who played Sabine. I connected with her. Like I was compelled. Like I thought was the most interesting part of the show. But to be fair, she's the only character who like changed,
Got anything? Yes.
yeah, over the course
Yeah.
of it. But like, I mean, it didn't have the same movement where like she's wearing her costume from the show at the
Right.
end. All right, I actually thought she had better hair with the long hair. I'm just being like
Honestly, I agree
entirely
with you
honest.
too,
But
because again, animation makes
yeah,
things different, right? So
but and it gets because we kept talking about Sabine should show up in Mando, but
every episode,
yeah,
every
but they at
episode,
least explained she was like, sad,
a Padawan in
cool
training,
girl on
right?
Lothal, instead of like and
With her
rejected her
speeder,
Mandalorianness, right?
right? Which
So
she kind of becomes again at the end of the episode too,
yeah, so it should
because
be a
it's so easy.
Mandalorian Jedi, I guess.
Right?
Well,
It's Grogu is a Mandalorian Jedi,
Mandalorian. So
or
there's
maybe
two
no, Grogu is a Jedi
Jedi
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian, yes,
and
and
she's
she's a
a
Mandalorian Jedi.
right? Because she's more
Uh,
Mandalorian than Jedi.
okay, so questions, Mo.
Uh-huh.
How many more Rebels main characters do you think will be on the show? Do you think you'll get
One
all of them by the end of the show?
1000%, because one of them was in
Mando,
Mando,
right?
right?
Yeah,
I
and he
forget
looked
his
pretty
name.
good actually.
Yeah, he looked amazing. I think that was like a test shot. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna test this out. Of course, he's there. Um, the Space Cat is a character from Rebels on the
Okay.
show. Um, Ezra is definitely on here, so he's coming.
I'll get to Ezra in a second. I have some Ezra.
The internet was searching for Ezra, which is crazy. It had me crying, laughing.
Oh, the actor.
Uh, yeah, no, they were searching for like who's Ezra, like
Oh, okay.
um.
So we're
I think
definitely
all
gonna
of
get
them are
the.
coming.
You
I
think
think
all
all
of
of
them
them
are
are coming.
coming?
I think all of them are coming on.
Okay.
Again, just because what's his name has said it is a continuation, so I'm just like, oh, okay, we're going to get, even if they don't do much, we're gonna get Star Wars Rebels characters here.
Do
1000.
we get any Mandalorian characters by the end of the show?
You know what?
Like, does the Mandalorian himself appear? Does Grogu appear? Does
No.
whatever her name is, the queen of the Mandos, whose his name is escaping me.
Uh,
Your bestie
oh
from
my
Battlestar.
God, Bo Katan.
Bo Katan. Do any of any Mandalorian characters
I'm
show up?
I'm struggling. I don't think so.
You don't
And
think so?
I hate that, but I don't think so.
Okay. Um, do we do so? Thrawn, does he appear before the second to last episode?
Oh, Thrawn is coming back episode 3 or 4. No, episode 4.
Episode
Oh
4.
wait, that is before the second to the last.
Is it
Before the
6
last, right?
episodes or is it 8 episodes?
I don't. I
Like
didn't
Mando.
count. Yeah, we should definitely check that out.
Because I think, well, okay. While you look it up, do we see Ezra not in hologram form this season?
I don't see why not. I absolutely don't see why not. I feel like you're doing this show a disservice if Ezra isn't here by episode 6.
Okay.
If it's a 7 episode show, if it's an 8 episode show, Ezra is here episode 6. Thrawn is here episode 4. Ezra's here episode 6.
With
If
the
it's a
space
six
whale.
episode show, right? If it's a 6 episode show, Ezra is your last big reveal, so he's on the last episode.
Okay. Do we get CG Luke?
Again, it's 8 episodes, by the way.
8 episodes. Okay.
It's 8 episodes. I hope not. I hope not. I really hope not. But there's a chance he shows.
Okay.
Because he has. There's again all of this happening. There's no way. Like, there's no. You know what? I'm going back to the original trilogy, right?
Did Luke ever show up in Rebels? No, right? Because he was on Tatooine, right? So he wasn't out and about.
He did. There was an episode with
Obi-Wan?
unless I'm thinking it's Rebels, right? Unless I'm thinking about Clone Wars. There's an episode with what's the guy who's in half?
Darth Maul, where he tries to go and kill.
No, that's Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul in either Rebels or Rebels, right?
Rebels.
He's old man. He's old man.
Yeah, it's old Obi-Wan. So it's Obi-Wan and not
So no Luke, because Luke wouldn't be old enough, wouldn't be out and about.
He's still a child. So I don't know, but again, if I'm going with your logic that you put out, there's all of this happening, all this shenanigans happening. Luke should be aware of it, right? Like he should be. Like,
I mean, like you got a bunch of dark. All right. So what do you think is up with the Dark Jedi? Like, are they Sith? Are they fallen Jedi? Are they
fallen Jedi that are now like I wouldn't call them bounty hunters. They're just doing this for money.
But they're hanging out with an Inquisitor, a former Inquisitor, right? So
right.
He's a Sith. I guess more Inquisitors are Sith, I guess. I don't
Sith adjacent. They're not 100% Sith yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. But do you think there's going to be a big twist relating to the Dark Jedi? Or are they just going to be cool Dark Jedi that eventually
Ray Winston is going to like save Ahsoka or something because he has this respect for her. Like it's there. It's like right there, right? He's like, I'm not scared. I'm just, respect because she's a Jedi. So yeah, he's gonna save her from his Padawan.
Okay. So Ahsoka's not gonna die. I am gonna put that so she does not die in this show.
Not until like
the movie.
If there's a third season of movie, yeah.
She's gonna die in the movie. If she dies in the movie.
Mm-hmm. It has to be a big thing. And you can't have 2 Jedi on the show. So if you get Ezra, Ahsoka's out. She's out.
Or is Ezra out?
No. Well, this is why we need some sort of canon, right? Because again, where's Ezra in relation to the Force Awakens? Is he?
He was not in the.
Was he a Force ghost?
He was not a Force ghost. So maybe Ezra. Or maybe Ezra is not a Jedi.
He's not a Jedi because Kanan was not a Jedi.
Well, I mean, they were basically Jedi. Like, all right. My final question about this is: how many times is Ahsoka gonna say she's not a Jedi in this show while acting like a Jedi, doing Jedi things?
So wearing how many times has she said it? Episode 1.
She hasn't said it so far.
She kind of alluded to it.
She didn't do it like in The Mandalorian, where like every other word out of her mouth was like, "I'm not a Jedi."
Right.
Okay. It looks like a duck.
I could have thought she kind of her and what's his name the droid kind of had a conversation about it in episode 1. No.
Yeah, they kind of did, but she didn't do the straight like.
She didn't say I'm not a Jedi. She said I didn't do it. I didn't use the Jedi approved methods.
Yes, and like she's like I didn't like finish my training or whatever. She said that.
Right.
But all the best Jedi don't finish their training. So.
All of them, Anakin,
Luke, Rey.
Anakin
Jedi. Of them, all of them, Anakin came the closest, I guess.
he was not elected to the. Okay, yeah, you know what? He might have finished his training, but he just didn't make it on the council. He
No,
was
no.
not a Jedi
He made it on the
master.
council, but he was not awarded the rank of master.
Master,
Well,
correct,
yeah, I mean, come
correct.
on, like the
It's
greatest crime ever, man. You get to be on the council, but you don't get to be called a master. So
listen.
disrespectful.
I also feel like if Anakin was a master, we're not here today. You know that if he was a master, we are not here today because he kills Palpatine before like he's like, you know what, you will not corrupt me. I'm a Jedi master. Pew. Like
I feel
war
like
over.
if like that conversation between Obi-Wan and Padme at the like after he's fallen, where
Mhm.
she's like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant. It's Anakin's kid." Obi-Wan's like, "Oh fuck!" If they just had that conversation like at the beginning of the movie when Anakin,
Listen, we
they
are
would.
not
It's
here.
like it's like
Like you know what, Anakin, I respect you. You know what, go live your life.
it's
Don't
like
become a Jedi.
you know what?
You know, for real, fuck the Jedi. If
It's
we're
like,
being honest,
bro, you know what? It's okay. Like that because that's basically what
that's all
Obi-Wan's
you wanted.
attitude.
For real, that's really what Anakin wanted. And it's crazy to me that Obi-Wan decided to uphold all of this while smashing Bo-Katan's sister. Well,
Did he canonically smash her, or is it
I
just like
mean,
unrequited love?
it's you know
Like they
what,
couldn't be together. I don't know.
I think it was off screen, right? And
Okay, to be fair, it's not against the Jedi Code to fuck. It's against the Jedi Code
to
to fall
love,
in love.
which
Like,
is okay.
because
All
like
right,
look, Obi's got needs. That's all I'm gonna say.
right. Right. So Anakin just didn't know how to separate the two. I mean, he was a
Yeah,
child.
that
He
was his
felt he
thing.
was a child. So
That's
like
Anakin's whole thing is he doesn't know how to like
right.
perspective. He can't get it.
Yeah, he doesn't have any. But yeah, I think are those all the questions you
I
have?
think so. I mean,
I'm
I'm interested
excited
to
to
see
see.
what's going
Yeah,
on with the Dark Jedi.
right. I
That
think yeah, for me too. Ray, I like Ray is the out. You know, R.I.P. again. But like that's who I'm very interested in seeing. I want to know if we are we gonna get any backstory on Ray.
I
If
think we
not,
will. I
yeah.
mean, they're at least a little bit because why is there dark Jedi's running around with this stuff like this the Force witch, right?
Hmm.
I think like and why is he running around with an Inquisitor when he wasn't an Inquisitor?
Right.
So like I think we'll get some. I don't. We may not get as much as you want, but I think we'll get
Yeah, just
some
something,
backstory.
you know,
Yeah,
just something. And it would absolutely honestly suck if he was supposed to be in the second season. If there was gonna be a second season, because I think it's a mini series, right? It's billed as a mini series. If there was
I'm,
gonna be a second season, it would absolutely suck because if his character was gonna continue, and they got to figure it out.
yeah. I mean, the
Maybe they.
question is like, what's next besides Mando 4, right?
Mhm,
Because the last season was 3, right?
mhm.
So like if this sets up one part of the movie and then Mando 4 sets up the other part of the movie, that would give Fiona enough time to
To figure out what he wants to do with these characters.
because I mean before the strike it was we get the prequel movie first, right?
Mhm.
It was right. It's not the Fiona movie first. It was
No. It's the
prequel movie first,
yeah,
then Fiona,
and
then
then
Ray.
Ray. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this, I mean, I think he has time. I think he has time. I'm very excited to see where this goes, how this continues to explore this aspect. You know, this broke because I feel like it's a broken era. You know, where the empire is done, but you're still arresting remnants and people who
yeah,
believe in the empire. And Mando showed like man, the thing in Mando was cool if it was just a seed, right? You know, like
yeah.
oh, this is the empire brain scrambling camp, right? Where we bring former empire employees and we program them and move them along. That would have been nice to see, but then they wasted a lot of um
Real
again
estate.
I really believe they had nothing in Mando in Mando 3. And so like we just have to write this fucking bullshit and
I
hopefully
still believe they watched the dailies from Andor. Like, oh, we could do this too.
yeah, no, we don't.
Like,
We're totally different animals. We're not equipped. We are not equipped for that. I almost want to play the Dune Star Wars trailer for you, but I'm not going to,
I will watch it.
I respect you way
I
more
will
than that.
watch it. I'm waiting for the Bosch Legacy trailer, which drops tonight. All
Right.
right.
Thursday
Uh,
Night Football. So I'm excited about that.
and
But um.
is Maddie dead? We'll find out.
Oh man, I know I say everything is me.
Uh,
I mean, again, I think for this show in particular, for me, for this show in particular, you have to know, like this is not a show that says, oh, there's big general Star Wars knowledge, right? For most of
mhm.
the other shows, there's big general Star Wars knowledge. For this one, there's specific Star Wars knowledge, exactly. So you have to understand the Rebels, a little bit of Clone Wars, and then this
And a
show,
little bit of Mandalorian.
and a little bit of Mandalorian, and then this show makes the most sense. Like big Star Wars universe knowledge, where you don't Mandalorian didn't need you to understand anything, right? It was his own thing, and then they started
Mandalorian season 1
right, and then they
didn't
started
require a lot.
interweaving
The
all of this,
Theoniverse stuff.
yeah. This show, however, is very Dave Filoni, and you need to understand all those little shows that come up, because this character, I think this was his baby, so he has to. I feel like it would have been a disservice if he never did this show.
I mean, but I mean, Ahsoka's George's last contribution to the canon, right? Because he co-created Ahsoka
Yes,
with George.
with George, yes.
Yeah, so well, I
Ex-
mean, that's what they're
well,
trying to make you feel, though, at least.
because yes, and unless you watched Rebels, then you understand the character. You actually see him in action. Actually, in Rebels, you never see him in action. He's never involved in anything. He's this big General Thrawn, and everyone that does something is doing something for him, which is why I love the character so much. But if you also read those books, you see the characters rise. Again, if Anakin Anakin mostly is my favorite Star Wars character. Grand Admiral Thrawn, even before Grand Admiral Thrawn level, is my second, and then maybe
Fair.
Darth Vader is my third. Like if I'm ranking my favorite like characters, I know someone who thinks Palpatine is the goat.
I
I
mean, as
think
a
that's
villain, Palpatine is the GOAT. I would never say he's my favorite character, but he's one of my
right.
favorite science fiction villains of all time.
Oh no,
Like,
because when you watch the prequels, you get to for me, again, that didn't read a lot of the stuff, but you get to respect what he did.
oh yeah,
You know,
Ian McDermott is a great villain, and he owns the prequels. The prequels are
yes.
him.
Oh
Like
yeah, 100%.
like
So, Drunk. I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this, but if you go on Disney Plus, you find Star Wars Rebels. That's an introduction to some of the characters here, and that could be your introduction to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Oh, I think is he Grand Admiral Thrawn at this point? Yes, he is.
I don't know well enough. And
Well,
he's got Freddie Prinze Jr. So
and yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. is in it as Caleb Dune. So yeah, and then if you want to know anything about Ahsoka herself, you might want to go all the way back to season 1 of Clone
the
Wars.
movie Clone Wars.
The movie Clone Wars, where Anakin hates her, and I think that's when all of the Star Wars fans hated her too, right? Was Anakin hated her? She's annoying. She was a child
I know, I'm with you.
who became
She's
the
also
team.
a female character, so let's not forget
Right,
that.
right. Okay, well then there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
then you're just gonna have to experience the show with everyone else that's experiencing the show, and hopefully it makes up for the mid for you. Hopefully, it's real. I respect
No,
that.
hey, yeah, no. Again,
But
I've only watched a sampling of both, so
right, and you've watched almost all the Star Wars shows that have come on Disney Plus. So I think that says more about maybe the product.
mhm.
It's interesting enough to get people who don't care about Star Wars enough to watch it and comment on it. So it's a thing. Um, so yeah, Star Wars, as you said in the beginning, Star Wars isn't dead. It's rising stock. So here we go. Um, I'm excited to see where the show goes. Again, how they
Mhm.
explore these characters. I'm very excited to see Ezra again. I'm more excited to see, and what I think I really love is that they didn't bring back all the characters all the actors from Rebels, right?
Didn't bring any of them, right?
No,
So-
yes
No,
they did.
uh,
Thrawn
David Tennant is the is the
is a
is
droid.
the is the droid, right?
Thrawn
Is the same guy.
is the same guy, and
Uh,
I am going to probably lose my shit when I see Thrawn. I think if I don't even care how if that episode is mid, you might give that episode a D minus. Or an F.
I think they'll sell Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like they have certain moves, right, that are going to make people excited. And I feel like
Right.
when they show
He's
Grand
one.
Admiral Thrawn, I don't think he comes back until the end.
Oh man.
Because I don't think they're going to have, like, I think he's going to be the villain of the movie. And this is, like, his, like, origin.
And if they bring him back as the villain of the movie to kill him off, I
Of
would
course, I
absolutely
mean,
never,
he
ever, ever,
has to
ever, ever,
die.
ever, ever,
He's not
ever, ever,
around
ever,
in
ever, ever, ever watch anything Star Wars related again. I
the
promise.
Empire is gone in the Force
In the
Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
So there's Grand Admiral Thrawn is done. Like, so and he's not leading the First Order. They don't talk about him at all. Like, so I mean, he might die a cool fight. Like,
my sad face.
yeah, I see your sad face, but like,
Right.
I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn as an OG character was only around for 3 books. His legacy was all over the place.
It's all over the place, and I
but
think it's a great thing to explore. Again, those comics from Marvel, love. I was reading everything weekly, from cadet to his current position. He I'm not saying I'm going to admire his rise or what he had to do to get to where he got to be.
Mo's like, I'm not actually a fascist. is what he's
No, I'm not. Okay. I just think it's, you know what? Never mind.
a
Because
Sith
it's not cool.
supporter.
It's not cool. Right. It's not cool. But ultimately, I will lose my shit once he shows up. I don't care. That episode is to me, whatever episode he shows up in is already A plus. So the show's if it's the last episode of the show, then the show's great. How about that?
I mean, that might be how you feel. I right now, again, I give this show so far a B plus. I
It's a
enjoyed
C for
it.
me. It's a
I'm
C for me.
excited. Yeah.
And again, it's not because of the story, because the story is strong. It's the way it's just the characters and the actors that I didn't connect with because again, I know these characters from the animated universe. And maybe whatever I missed, I'll get in the next coming episodes.
Yeah.
And so if that's how it happens, then my grades will probably rise. But the story is strong. Again, I'm enjoying this story. Everyone's like dealing with the loss and pain, and all of the things that's because it's a big time jump if we're being honest, right? So
Yeah. From
the end of Rebels. Yeah,
it's like 10 years because
it's a big
like
time jump.
Mandalorian's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, right?
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. I get it. Because that's the thing. They are setting up some cool things.
Yeah.
And those things might end up paying off in a so for me it's a C because actors I didn't connect with. And Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka doesn't just do it for me. I don't know why. I think you know how when people just because I'll show you, right? You know how when people just look like a character and everyone is like, oh my god, this needs to be the character. Well, she's not here.
I think Sabine looks a lot like.
Does she?
Yeah.
Huh. Let me see. I need to find and then it's like you think so? Next week I'm gonna pull up the
side by side. We'll do it side by side.
Yeah, and we'll see. But yeah, that's all I have for this.
I've got nothing else.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Didn't like thrill me, but I enjoyed it and I'm excited to come back.
Right. You know what is crazy though? What we didn't go off tangent so hard like we usually do.
Well, I mean, there was.
And I think it's because we started right. 2 episodes does that, right?
Yeah. And we still have the potential. It's the middle. It's the middle that we go
those
off.
2 middles where it's like where they do nothing.
Yeah.
And we start asking, is it gonna land? Oh man, I can't wait for those episodes where we start.
We'll get there, man.
How are they gonna land this show?
And probably poorly, based on the most recent
right Disney Plus show, and then they're gonna complain about how no one is watching it again in the next earnings call. and they're gonna hike up Disney Plus subscriptions, and they're gonna stop password sharing. Okay, Disney, Netflix, let's see how that works for you. You see, this is my problem with these services, right? I think Disney banked on the Marvel Star Wars thing too hard, right?
They did.
And they didn't realize they'd be spending the money they did to be making this content, and they wouldn't get the subscribers because it's few and far in between.
Yeah,
Netflix drops a big show once a month, but in between that, there's also new Netflix content,
that's just
right? Where
garbage. But garbage
right,
people eat up.
but people are just gonna watch it because it exists. Like, oh, I just finished The Witcher Part One and Part Two. There's nothing really. Oh, all my Korean, all my K dramas, eat that
Well,
shit up.
I think Netflix has an advantage over certainly Disney, right? Because
Right,
Disney Plus is only Disney content, right?
only yes,
Netflix is like whatever we can buy,
right.
and they
And I
fill
think
it with movies by
garbage.
all, and then just tons of garbage. But garbage people eat up, whether it's bad K dramas, bad Turkish dramas, bad
All
American
of it.
dramas. I don't want to shade like
German.
yeah,
Yeah. Listen,
and Disney can't do that.
Disney can't do that, right? Because I think what Disney should have done was collapse Hulu into Disney Plus, or take Disney Plus in like one of the two, like where you have both combined, so you're able to do, like, because unless you're paying that, what was it, 12.99, 15.99 for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN. What Disney Plus is, what, like 12.99 now, or 10.99 now, nine ninety
Something
nine
like that. Yeah.
something, right? But then you can and then, so if Disney Plus is 10.99, right? But I spend $2 more and I bundle Hulu and ESPN. Oh yeah, I'll do that, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I know people who don't do it as well.
I mean, sometimes I want to watch like an old Marvel movie or an old Disney movie, and I'll
But
boot
then
it
there are
up.
people who have physical media, and they would
Yeah.
rather watch, because again, if you're a physical media head, it's 4K and it's Dolby Digital and all these things. Like, people who want that because of that will only watch it physical. Like, oh, my 4K TV, my 8K TV with 30,000 terabits of image, like all of it. There are people who are just nerds in that sense,
Yeah,
who
there are.
only, yeah. Like, you and I don't care how we get our media, man. Just show it to me. Like,
I watch these on my phone during my lunch break
right.
sometimes,
I
right?
watched Ahsoka on my phone at work. Like, I probably shouldn't say
It's
that,
like,
but
hey, look, man. I said to a coworker of mine, we were at some offsite thing. I said I might just go to corner and watch Ahsoka, but then
like,
but
you
we were able
see,
to leave early, so I was like,
right, right. So
I'll watch it on my
you
TV.
you get it on Disney because of Verizon. Like, it's Disney's full of content, though. They are, and they have that they have Nat Geo as well, right?
Yeah,
So if
those documentaries are terrible, though. Like, just terrible.
so I think I'm not sure how that password sharing thing is gonna work, but we'll see.
We
I
will.
don't know. We will, because I don't even think it's really working for Netflix, if we're being honest. But Netflix is never gonna tell anyone about their numbers.
Well,
They're gonna.
none of us, like, no one know. Like, the secret is these are all black boxes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like I've said this about many shows. Like, the economy's doing all right, but the cheap money is gone, and that's
Yes.
what's created this. And with the strikes, that's what's created this recession in tech and entertainment. And Disney clearly was relying on cheap money,
Yes, they were. They
and
were.
that's gone. And so, what the world looks like without the cheap money and the pandemic having broken people's movie going habits, like, maybe they can fix it, but it's proving to be harder than they thought.
It's
I mean,
way harder. Like, even, and I think I will be honest. Thinking about it now, right? HBO Max might have messed up with that day date
day and
thing.
date. Yeah.
It was great for us,
Yeah.
but you messed up. First of all, you messed up with that, and then when you decided, oh, 45 days from uh um release, because the Batman did, I think, 45 or 60.
It was a
Or
while. It was a
it was
while.
it wasn't that long.
It was like the summer when it came out. Like, it came out in March, right?
March,
And then it was
April,
like
May.
June when it was on Amazon.
Okay, I think
Or
they went 60 days, right, from release or something. But like, and then you have, like, if I don't watch the Batman, or if I don't watch a DC movie, right? I know
Yeah.
I can sit at home and don't care if I don't care about being spoiled. I can sit at home and wait till it's on
Well, the
HBO. No,
secret is if enough people don't go see it, they dump it on their
they're
streaming
not. Yeah,
service
it's super quick
faster.
because the Flash is coming. I literally looked on my
Flash is
phone and
next
I
week, I
saw
think, right? It's
right
next
and I
week.
saw and I saw a collision of worlds. I'm like, are you kidding? The movie just came out.
Yeah, I mean, and then it takes a long time. Like Across the Spider Verse is just on is just
It's
out on.
on yeah. So again, if it's good,
They
it
waited.
gets an extent. Yeah, they wait a bit because Blue Beetle we haven't heard anything about when it's dropping on. It's not. We don't even know when it's going to the ancillary before it goes to HBO Max. So if it's passable good, they'll keep it out there longer. Tom Cruise might be going to Paramount Plus really soon.
Yeah, I mean, he got beat by Barbie and Oppenheimer, so
Oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe he did that because I think he controlled the release on that.
yeah,
Um,
because he's an arrogant pos. So
right, and he did a part one, part two. I don't know about. I don't know if I've said this before. I have feelings. I think I have because Spider Verse was part one, part two. I have
they did
feelings
rename them. They're not part one, part two. It's a what? Across the Spider Verse and Beyond the Spider
beyond.
Verse.
It
Yeah.
is a part one, part two.
Oh, I agree. I just say they at
It
least renamed it.
is right. Oh my gosh, because you definitely could finish Across the Spider Verse. You could have that
I
chase
mean,
scene could have been cut. If we're being honest, a lot of that chase could have been cut. A lot of the thing with Spot in the beginning could have been cut. Um, you could cut
you
him.
could, but I don't think it'd be as good of a movie. I just wish they had released both of them within a reasonable period of time.
Right, or
Like they
they
both have been done. Like if it went
right,
like summer across
and then winter.
Christmas, like
Yes,
Christmas beyond, I think people wouldn't complain. Instead
right,
of across and then
because
beyond,
it was March, right, and then
yeah,
now we don't know because strike.
yeah,
And because Sony, Phil Lord and whatever, Phil
the
Lord and
Lord
his,
brothers, yeah,
yeah, the
whatever.
Lord, yeah, they're actual dickheads who worked
These
their
people to
artists to
death.
the right. Like, would
Like,
you ever expect that from the Spider Verse
I
people?
mean,
That,
like
you
here's the
know
thing:
what?
they
We
came
should,
for Lizzo. Like
huh,
it's just like,
yeah, we should not. We should expect anything from anybody at this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
But yeah, before we get too far off track,
There was the off track I wanted. So
yeah, finally got there. Um, There we go. Yeah, we're not doing the spoilers yet, but I'm waiting for. Yeah, he hasn't seen it though.
all right. I'll try to
He
find something.
hasn't seen. Oh, there you go. This one's for you. This one's for you.
Yeah,
Because they came out pretty much back to back, right?
yeah, they did.
And
Yeah.
they did it for Harry Potter as well, where they
Now,
came out
Harry
pretty
Potter
much.
weren't they a year apart? Maybe I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings too much. I don't know.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings was the longer one,
1 year.
but it was also it was gonna be the what's his name, the kid from the movie where he runs a lot. Maze Runner was supposed to be back to back, but then he got hurt, and they had to hold the one movie until he came back. Right?
Oh, did they make more than one Maze Runner movie?
There
So
was like three of them, or
oh,
four. There was three or four.
I saw the original, but I didn't watch.
Wow.
Maybe
Anyways,
that's something I'll do.
Drunk. We're waiting on him. Okay, we're waiting
All
on
right,
him.
all right, all right. All right.
All right, Roy. We're not gonna keep you too long. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Drunk, for making this one fun. We'll see
Always
you next week. We'll see you next week. I think
more so.
what is it gonna be? Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's now Tuesdays for some reason. I don't know why they
Oof.
decided
So
Tuesday.
I gotta do sports and then do this because
I mean, we can do it. We can do
we
it
can do both.
Wednesday.
We can do
So
both. It's fine. Sports because sports is gonna be later anyways. Where I would be ending this show and be jumping right on the sports show. But yeah, I can do both. I can do both. Okay.
okay, Mo. Okay.
You know why I can? Because there's gonna be a long break once Ahsoka's. Well, is it that
No, it
long?
goes right into Loki, and
Okay,
then
never
after
mind.
Loki, there's a long break.
There's a long break. So I think between sports is always fun. So we can do both.
It's true.
Thank you again, Roy. Thank you, Drunk. We will catch you next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, for episode 3.
Or Thursday, like
right. Whenever
because
we'll
I
catch you
messaged
next
Mo
week at some
yesterday. I was
point.
like, "We doing this?" He's like, 6 o'clock your time tomorrow.
We'll definitely catch you next week for episode 3 of Ahsoka. Good night.